Hey guys, if you're trying to weigh up whether it's worthwhile pursuing architectural work or work with designers, here are some key discoveries that we made when we did some research with architects and builders just over the last couple of years. And the first thing that I'll mention is that when you're working with an architect, it does generate a steady revenue stream. And so I remember speaking to one builder who'd worked with one architect for almost 20 years. And so they had a good, solid, respectful relationship where everybody stayed within their own zones and did their own thing and behaved professionally, and it worked out really, really well. So that's a really strong thing and a positive thing, but you've got to find the right fit. Okay, so that's the key thing. The next thing that they talked about also was ABIC contracts. Now, I don't know whether you're familiar with these. Basically, they operate a little bit differently to traditional builders contracts in that they have retention figures. There are also it appoints the architect as the administrator of the project, so they approve payments. The other thing that with ABIC contracts is that they also, generally banks aren't so keen on them because the payment schedule isn't aligned with what's required in legislation. So the banks tend to steer away from them. What has happened just recently is that the NBA has also developed a version of an ABIC contract. So if you do have an architect that really insists on an ABIC contract, you can actually source them through the NBA, and that's actually incorporates some of the builder's requirements and also government requirements, and therefore makes it easy to lend against. So if you just do your research, if you do go down that path, because it's certainly worthwhile, making sure that you've checked all the boxes. The next thing is that, and I didn't know this, but a lot of architects actually prefer MBA or HIA contracts. And the reason for that is that an ABIC contract actually specifies that they can only work on basically a percentage of build. So I think the going rate is about 3%. So they are being paid 3% to do project management of the build or overseeing the build. A lot of them felt that just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worthwhile putting in the effort that's required for only a 3% return. So a lot of architects nowadays will actually say to the client, look, sign the regular contract with the builder, be it an MBA or an HIA, and then they actually have a separate contract with the client where they're actually paid on an hourly basis. And so what I found was that a lot of the architects that were doing this tended to be a little bit more experienced, and they sort of had already been through the ringer a little bit with picking up percentage of build. So it's always worthwhile asking an architect if they're interested in working with an MBA or an HIA contract and actually invoicing the client directly. The next thing is that everybody involved in an architectural build expects the builder to charge more. And that's because of the way the contracts work. It's also because of retention figures. It's also because of the various amounts of or extra administration that's required to go into the job. So there's also the detail of the finish. There's also basically being working through and being patient with different people's requirements. So there's a lot more effort required that's not necessarily just about building. So everybody, including the client, expects you to charge more for that, and so you should. And the fifth thing is that it's really important that you work out a way to efficiently cost clients or architects' concept drawings. And so ProCalc obviously does that really, really well. And it means that you can actually develop relationships with architects by actually saying to them, look, guys, we can pull together a feasibility costing for you very quickly and get it back to you within a couple of days. And so ProCalc's a great way to do that. If you'd like to take a free trial at ProCalc, you can at procalc.com.au. Thanks and have a good day.